There was a time when Disney dared to wander off the lighted path into a realm of darker stories and dangerous ideas. They called it Hollywood Pictures. But time buried these celluloid treasures beneath the streaming sands. Now, we dig them up, one forgotten reel at a time. Welcome to Pharaoh's Vault. From deep beneath the dunes of forgotten cinema, our excavation continues. Today's discovery, two emotional relics exploring the exhausting weight of paranoia. Here's the thing about paranoia. Just because you're not paranoid, doesn't mean no one's after you. Across history and across cinema, paranoia splinters into two forms: the fear of what's coming for you and the fear you create for yourself. Hollywood Pictures released two films that show both sides of the fracture. In Dead Presidents, the Hughes brothers drop us into a version of America where paranoia is survival instinct, not delusion. Anthony Curtis, played by Lorenz Tate, enlists in the Marines hoping for purpose, stability, and a sense of direction. The direction ends up in Vietnam, a place where paranoia stops being a mindset and becomes a survival requirement. Every shadow hides a threat, every noise could be an ambush, every patrol might be the last one. Anthony returns home thinking the war is over for him. However, war isn't over. It's simply changed shape. The battlefield moves to the streets, unemployment, poverty, broken support systems, and a country pretending it didn't send him to hell. Paranoia becomes Anthony's compass, not because he's imagining enemies, but because he's surrounded by systems designed to fail him. Dead Presidents reminds us, paranoia isn't always fiction. Sometimes it's a warning your world won't listen to. While Dead Presidents shows paranoia forced from the outside, Oliver Stone's NIxon turns the lens inward. Anthony Hopkins plays the 37th President of the United States, a man convinced that every loss, every criticism, and every misstep happened because opponents, institutions, and shadows were conspiring against him. Unlike Anthony Curtis, Nixon isn't trapped by external danger, he's trapped by his own interpretation of danger. Every setback becomes sabotage, every rival becomes an attacker, every whisper becomes evidence of a larger plot. Nixon isn't presented as a monster, but as a man who believes he is constantly under siege, even at the peak of his power. His paranoia becomes a prophecy of self-fulfillment. The walls close in, not because of external enemies, but because he keeps rebuilding them. Nixon shows us the darkest version of internal paranoia, when a person becomes their own accuser, judge, and jailer. Before we reseal today's discoveries, there's one more artifact buried in the cultural sand worth dusting off. 1995 wasn't just the release year for Dead Presidents and Nixon, it was the year paranoia took over at the multiplex. Not all political, not all literal, but all shaped by the same question: who's watching and who can we trust? Let's take a quick walk along the 1995 Paranoia Timeline. In The Usual Suspects, paranoia was a misdirection, a story where the truth hides in plain sight. Seven showed us paranoia as moral decay, fear that the world is sliding into darkness. In Strange Days, techno-paranoia before we even had the technology to fear properly. Heat showed us paranoia between professionals, cops and thieves watching each other through glass. And finally, for 12 Monkeys, paranoia collided with time, illness, memory, and institutional disbelief. For One Strange, The Electric Year, paranoia became the heartbeat of American cinema, mirroring a moment in culture where technology, politics, and the end of the century blurred into a single nervous pulse. So when we excavate Dead Presidents and Nixon, we're not just unearthing two films, we're brushing dust off a whole cinematic moment. A year when paranoia wasn't just a subplot, it was the mood of the nation. While Hollywood was looking at paranoia in the future, Hollywood Pictures showed paranoia had been present for years, whether it's carved by the world or carved from within. Cinema's history is buried deep, and we'll keep digging. But for now, the vault is closed.